Good evening, all. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up for Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2024. Another day of the same. You get another set of hot readings on CPI. And what does the market do? I explained to you when that came out, you would see a lot of volatility out of the algorithms. You did. The market spun around a good early part of the morning. And then by later in the morning, I'm defining later after 10 a.m. Central Daylight Standard Time, I guess we could call it now, the market decided to move to the upside. And we ended up going up in three of the indices pretty good. The Russell was the laggard all day long. Bonds and notes down because the market is still looking at this and saying, when is the Fed going to be able to cut rates? There's schools of thought. There's more and more big analysts coming out arguing the Fed should not go early or at all. I mean, did you read Ken Griffin today? I'd call that pretty big. Jim Rogers, Ariel Investments, if you were reading his commentary today, he thinks the market is well overdue for a price correction in it. And I do too. You know, I think most of us think that the healthiest thing for this bull market would be a correction of sorts. Because the longer it goes without even a 3 to 5% correction, it's like a rubber band. Eventually it snaps. What will cause it? It's beyond me. I don't care what causes it. I'm just telling you these things happen over time. And it's not my first rodeo with something like this. I was around for the dot-com bubble, and I'm not saying this is a bubble. I am saying the corrections are needed, plain English. And when you don't get them, you start pulling on that band, and it could be very, very harmful to the market. You're still looking at the typical characters not doing so well in the auto stocks. UAL in trouble. Boeing, you're watching the value just fall out of it. United Airlines told them today, we don't want any of these MAX 10s. Just forget it. Your problems are too big. We'll take a different brand and we'll go to Airbus and get what we need. I mean, these are serious problems. The government's all involved with Boeing. It's not a good thing for them. In Amazon, a snapback today, along with Netflix. You know, Netflix, in my opinion, should split. I don't think you need to have a $600 value. You can almost do a 3-for-1 split and attract a lot of people to it. Home Depot put on a little bit of a rally today as well. Tesla down another little bit, and you came back a bit in NVIDIA. Nice gain, actually, for the day. So, you know, interesting how that market works, but it's just wild. Now, the CME Group announced that they're going to become cash treasury clearinghouse. So this is something new. I guess it's the SEC that wants this to occur, and so they want more competition in it. So they filed their application today. I would think any business they get is business they didn't have, and that could be a friendly omen for it. The pattern is still one of lower highs and lower lows. The battleground has been, for the past 4 days, the 18-day average of closes. To break the downtrend, you got to get over the 220.80 level. And if you take out today's lows and close under 217, you reinstate some more downside, possibly to the 100-day average at 211. If the market can rally through that number, wherever that upper Bollinger Band comes in, should be a resistance zone. So keep that in the back of your mind. Momentum-wise, you were coming down, and now you're losing that downside momentum. I think that announcement had a lot to do with that today. Now, I've been waiting to see if DraftKings is going to come alive. You know, Sunday we start March Madness. It's been crazy on TV as it is. I'm sure you're watching. If you're a basketball fan, I love college basketball at this time of the year. I get bored with it during the regular year. But at this time, I'll have the games on, and who doesn't watch it? You're looking at the best team versus the worst. I love how they bracket them, and anybody could win on any given day. You know that, and it just throws things crazy. I have never bet in these brackets. I don't even know how. Lower highs, lower lows. You can see how the market's still in its downtrend. Here, too, you'd have to get up and over the last rally high, just like the CME. Over that 43.68 in this case to get up to the Bollinger Band possibly. In the gasoline fund, I think this is sideways action building, as I've said over and over, where I think you're going to break out to the upside. I hope I can catch it. I can't catch every trade. Nobody walks on water and nobody catches every trade. I mean, if you believe that, wonderful for you. higher high, lower low, and where the market is finding the support, and I think you'd agree, is this 200-day average. Ever since February, when it crossed over it, that has proven to be the important part in this market. The Bollinger top, the resistance 67.72, so we'll see 50 cents higher what it can do if it gets up there. You're still in the financial services bullish. The market didn't even blink today off the CPI numbers. I mean, just look. You basically opened steady to higher and you went right up and stopped again at that Bollinger Band. If you learn how to use Bollinger Bands, you have an edge, in my opinion, in the market. You suddenly understand why the market starts finding resistance at certain numbers that if you don't put them on the chart, you go, why did it stop there? So it's a guideline. It is not a signal to go short to come back down. I laugh when some people write that and they don't understand it. It's a signal that the algorithm's designed so that prices won't stay outside of the band 95% of the time. And once you start counting how many days it can get under or over the band in a row, you start with another edge in the market, all right? Anything can break what is a norm at any point in time. But if you play and you're a chartist, you're playing for the norms, not for the abnorms. Options trader trade for the abnorms. They're inevitably trying to catch that move that comes out in left field that goes in their direction, and it's heaven when you do. It's hell when you don't. And most options expire worthless for a reason. In XLI, if you look at the industrial sector, in my opinion, once you lose the embedded reading, I'll let somebody else want to own that. The odds favor. Doesn't mean it has to. That before you make a new high, you go back to wherever the 18-day average is. In AMC, you'd have to close back over now 454 to get friendly the chart. Hasn't done that. Hasn't done anything. It's just trading in basically a sideways pattern at this point. The consumer is still strong as can be, and until the red line in the slow stochastic goes under 79, there's no reason to think they're not going to continue. Just buy. And that's what they have been doing. We saw it, if you saw the Red Book sales today, still 3% increase year over year, week over week from a year ago. It's still a strong number. Once you lost the embedded readings in XHB, I said, I think you walk away for a little bit here. We let the chart redevelop the bullish pattern. Why bullish? Because the market's over the 18-day average, and that's my bias measure. When you're over that number, I have a bullish bias. When you're under it, I'd have a bearish bias. Get back over, so on and so forth. And you'll see how the market fights its battle looking for direction often at that number. In the energy sector, the API numbers today were bullish. I saw declines in all the key categories. This still is friendly, hits the Bollinger Band, but continues to back away, has the bullish embedded reading, which tells me on the breaks, the traders are still buying this market. In the gold, is it going to be more than a 1 or 2 day correction? If this is, again, one of these moves that had excessive amount of days in a row over the band, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down. And I said, generally in stocks, you don't go beyond 7. So you're getting a correction. That does not mean the trend is over. You have to lose the embedded reading and keep it lost for 2 days in order for me to say that. You haven't even gone into day 1 yet. Does this mean it's a buy here? Well, trying to find that exact spot is not easy. Same thing happening in silver to a degree. It never had the 6 days in a row, but you can see how it's rolling over as well. I like silver a lot in this neighborhood of 21.35 to 21.34, the combination of all those averages. I'm seeing crossovers that I think are bullish. Copper market, questioning, does China really have the power to keep this market up? So I'd be watching that. You had a reversal day in the market, an outside day to the downside. In BND, who do you want to talk to as an analyst that'll tell you, 1, going to be June cuts. 2, there won't be any rate cuts at all this year. I'm telling you, these are the major analysts. 3, well, if it comes, it might be later towards the fall months. 4, it'll be 2 cuts this year. Which one do you want to buy into? That's your call, okay? And Got to take it whichever way the Fed goes. Now, today came out a new term, forward thinking for the Fed. I love that term. So some traders are saying, yeah, you can't keep going by the data. And I've been writing about that for a long time. You've got to go to get ahead of the curve. The Fed's got to at some point say, I want to be ahead of it. Is this the time given the current data we've had? And I'll answer that in my opinion, no. You can't have this strong of CPI and want to feed it with lower interest rates and think you're ahead of the curve. We need the numbers to drop. Now, the Fed meeting in June is I think, 12th. So you're going to have the ability to see the March numbers, the April and May numbers. That is when you'll have your better ideas to what's going on. Right now, no. That's all I could say. They want to see CPI is ingrained to the downside. The easy, low-picking fruit did. It's this next yard and a half that is very difficult. You can see how you're getting a little bit of a bounce in the dollar. And as I said, tomorrow, I think you want to be a bit cautious in the euro. I'd want to see what the European Central Bank comes out in their decision as to how their monetary policies are going to work with bank reserves, so on and so forth by them. Ms. Lagarde talked about it at the last meeting she had. Now, tomorrow's supposed to be the day where we get some decisions. Again, if you want to learn how to work with Bollinger Bands the way that I teach it, you can either click up here, there's an icon. You can go to our website at iraepstein.com under the word education, and you can watch this ad and at any time do the same things. You'll be right there. And it's a complete course. You get the charting software that'll work just like mine. You get access to my Spider ETF videos if you haven't already been subscribing to them. You get the charting software that does all this and the videos so that you get to learn this, and I reinforce it each day. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time. And on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein on the road to your education.